Hello guys, so today we will discuss about JWT, which is basically JSON Web Token. Okay, so basically JWT, that's a token for authentication and authorization. Okay, so we will talk about how does it work, why it is important, what all information it stores, and how to implement them in any programming language. We will take an example of, let's say, C#. So basically this is let me explain it first in a diagram, that how does it work actually. So you can see this diagram. So this is our user, this guy is user. So basically what happens when we first open any website, we put the username and password, right? Then these username and password go to server, right? Then server checks these username and password in the database. Every application has database, so they will check for this user details, whether this guy is a valid user or not. Let's say it is a valid user, then database would be send a yes, right? So if it is a valid user, then this request would be forwarded to the token generation service, JWT token generator. Okay, now we need all the user information, right? Here we are giving from DB all the user information to token generator service, and server also put a key. Okay, a client key is also added before generating the token. Okay, so then with this key and the user information, we generate the JWT tokens, and these tokens are basically returned to the user. Okay, but on the other hand, if this guy is not available in DB, that means this user is not a valid user. In that case, we would be returning invalid credential command, right? So this is overall flow. Now we have to think about why this key is required and what all things are happening here. So let's now define what is the JWT token actually contains, and why every component is important in JWT. So let me further go for this part. So far we are clear with the flow, right? So first of all, before generation of any token, we have to pass the basic authentication, means username and password. Then only token generation thing will come to the picture. Okay, then only server would be proceed ahead. So till here we are fine. Now we will actually look what happens while tokens are being generated. So let me draw another diagram to further display the details. Yeah, so one more detail I want to tell you. Let's say once these tokens are generated, these tokens are going back to user, right? Now from here onwards, whatever post, get, whatever request user makes, these tokens would be there in those requests. Okay, so that we will know whether this guy is providing a valid token or not. So now we will go more details of this token. So guys, this would be the structure of a JWT token. So first of all, it is header. Okay, so basically header contains the two information, that what is the type of the token. So type here is JWT, and what is the algorithm we are using for the encryption. So it could be any encryption. For example, I have put here SHA 256, or it could be any other end as well. Okay, now this is the header. Then second part is payload. So payload is the information where all the user related informations are there. Like there could be user ID or some ID which is uniquely identify that user, and the issuer ID. This could be like xyz.com, from where this user is making the request. Then there would be the validity, right? Like ABC or whatever it is, and certain payloads have certain more details, but high level these would be the details. Now this third part is very important. Okay, so whatever type of algorithm for the encryption we are using, that is there in header. Okay, so with the help of header, so with this algorithm SHA1, we have to encryption of these two part, like header and payload. Okay, so we are encrypting here header plus payload both. Okay, then this would be generating some value which is actually called the signature. Okay, now there is the importance of it. So for example, in between, when we are passing the tokens through the network calls, there could be somebody who is a malicious attacker, right? So what he will try, he or she he will try to change these information, right? So he will try to change these information, and then he would be trying to make this request. But this signature would be checked at the validation service, right? So what they will do, you remember in the we were having a client key. Okay, so those client secret keys are stored at the server side. So with the this header plus payload plus client key, this key also would be there, which had while we were generating it, this client key also was included. So this whole encryption was made. Now when let's say some user has modified this part. Okay, if a user in between, some malicious user has modified this part, then what happened, when this token will go to server, the validation service will check whether this is a correct token or not. So what they will do, they will basically check this thing. Okay, we will take the header and payload and this key, and they will generate the signature. Then signature would be different. Okay, so they will come to know that this is not this is a malicious user request. Okay, malicious attack, you can say. So for that reason, this key is the client key, which is stored at server side. So the attacker wouldn't have this key. So even when you try to make the signature by making some change, the signature would be different, but the signature which would be generated at the server side would be different. So this would be helpful to save this kind of attack on the system. Okay, so this key plays a vital role because any attacker don't have this key. So for that reason, they just cannot make a correct signature. They can change this part, but they cannot make this part correctly until they have a secret key, because secret key is also added to make this final signature. So for that reason, JWT is the token which is important, and these parts are basically encoded with the base 64 thing. Okay, so we just cannot store any sensitive information inside this part payload, because anybody who has having a base 64 decoder, they can easily decode it. So that is the reason we should not expose other things, but though these things would be definitely because of this SHA and key. This is a very nice way to authenticate and authorize the peoples. So thank you for watching this video.